Welcome to an episode of Rap Reviews where we do stuff about rap. I'm with friends, Kieran. I'm looking at Chris.
It's crisscross on the $45 mic. That's probably why it sounds
Ben
so
should
bad.
look at Kieran when I say Ben, and for Kieran,
Hi, Chris.
yeah, there's four of us, and I'm Romano. That's a person. That's a name. It's also a cheese. If you didn't know it.
Yeah,
Oh.
nice little Italian number.
It is. It's a good cheese. Anyway, we are doing a song by a relatively long-standing but underground rapper, one of Benjamin Banks' favorite.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us about the rapper?
I'll
and all
tell you
that?
about the rapper. We're doing a song by Aesop, Rock, gentlemen, which I believe you're all familiar with.
Yeah.
I am. I'll reference a study after you've done your little preamble.
Oh, he's ready for it.
Yeah, because I always wanted to do at least one Aesop Rock song in my first couple of weeks. So I thought I'd throw this one out. I'm going to do Shrunk by Aesop Rock from his 2016 album, The Impossible Kid.
Sounds good.
Which was sort of my first full-length album introduction to Aesop Rock. I was very late. It's probably his 7th or 8th full-length studio album in his career.
But don't feel bad. Like, I'm pretty sure you were a child when he started.
Yeah, but I should have been
And
honest.
also, your brain probably wasn't developed enough to deal with his
brain-
extreme
shots
vocabulary.
fired.
Still isn't
dude.
developed enough, dude. It's insane, the stuff that comes out of his mouth. So yeah, I wanted to get down on a song. This one I think was probably one of the, still a lot to unpack, but one of the easier ones to unpack out of his whole catalogue, because it is crazy.
I appreciate you doing that legwork and making sure that you weren't putting us into like a fucking, I don't know, Gallipoli situation where words are bullets and we are the Australian diggers. I don't know why that metaphor came to head.
Yeah, it was an odd one to pick.
It sucked, but you're right though. He's
We-
wordy,
we're on the
and we're
beaches.
not smart enough. Clearly, we couldn't formulate a fucking good metaphor.
You know there are other countries other than Australia, Gallipoli, right?
No.
No, there isn't. I doubt it.
Yeah.
No.
Really?
Of course, mate.
What are they like?
Oh, yeah, not bad.
What's Spain like, Chris? Crisscross?
Spain was at Gallipoli.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate.
Oh, you're just talking about how we always claim it.
Oh,
yeah.
you're talking about those other countries at Gallipoli. I think there's
Who
just other
gives a
countries.
shit about the other countries,
Yeah,
Chris?
exactly, bro. Have you ever seen how America warred stuff? There was other people. We fought in a lot of those wars, and no one gives a shit.
Yeah, we were
Yeah, that's
helping our
true.
people, dude.
Hmm.
We didn't need to do that.
Then again, I guess wars these days you don't want to claim anyway. So that's
No.
the nice thing about being able to pass it on to the Americans, even though we're also there.
What's the study,
Too topical?
Kieran? that you were gonna-
This study was done by a data scientist back in 2014. I forget his name. Sorry, I can't give you proper reference if you're listening.
so it's probably
But
bullshit.
he compared the first 35,000 words of like 80 to 100 different rappers to see how many unique words they said in that. He chose that number because that represented something like 3 to 4 studio albums worth. So anyone who didn't have enough material didn't make the cuts. That included Biggie, unfortunately. He didn't include Biggie in the study. 'Cause
Whoa. Never thought of that, actually.
That is
Yeah.
really unfair.
well, I mean, you got to have a big sample number in order
Yeah,
to get
you
those
gotta have
unique
correct
words.
data.
Yeah, but I remember this thing you were talking about, actually. Then a lot of good rappers just sat in the middle.
Well, you had Aesop Rock, who shone very highly. He had something
Yeah.
like, in those first 35,000 words, he had something like 7,000 unique words.
Yeah, he is number one.
He is
Yeah,
number
yeah,
one.
It's been redone, I think, the last year or the year before, and he's still like way ahead.
Oh,
of
there's,
me.
Oh,
there's
really?
been an update to
Yeah,
it.
there's a really cool website. It's just a graph, and it's got like every rapper, and you can click on each one. I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's
and
exactly
then,
what I'm
and then
talking
it
about.
tells you what it's been updated. Yeah,
The purpose of the study, though, was to compare rappers to Shakespeare,
Shakespeare,
because everyone,
yeah.
like, when you talk literary things, everyone's like, oh, Shakespeare, he's got the biggest vocabulary out.
because he just made up words, though. That's fucking, it's bullshit.
Anyone
Shakespeare
can make up
sits
This
Word.
bullshit. I can make up biggest vocabulary,
in his first 35,000
Did you make
words.
bubble? Did he bubble?
Shakespeare only
Did he?
said
Yeah.
That's a good one.
5,000 unique words compared to Aesop Rock's 7,000.
yeah.
So wait.
Following Aesop Rock, there was like 6 members of the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah,
Like
Jizza was second, I think.
Jizza, RZA, Raekwon the Chef, Ghostface. Some Wu-Tang members didn't rank as highly, like Old Dirty Bastard and
What
whatnot.
about Method Man?
Method Man was down there as well.
Man. dude.
Oh.
You know who have got a lot of love for these days? Inspector Deck.
Yeah, from Zarface.
Yeah, just because of
That one,
Zarface.
actually,
Like, I love
yeah.
Zarface so much. Like,
Yeah, dude, we should do a Zarface.
we should.
soon, yeah.
We really
We
should.
should also do some solo Wu-Tang songs. But anyway, let's not get ahead of
Yeah,
ourselves.
for sure. But I'm glad you brought that up because whenever I introduce someone to Aesop Rock, That's always the first thing I say. I'm like,
Biggest vocab.
Like a
number one
selling-
vocabulary in rap,
Yeah.
and then the Shakespeare thing too. But I didn't know the actual figures and the stats. So I'm glad you came through with that and told
No
me.
worries, I did a tiny little bit of
appreciate that,
research
guys.
before we recorded.
Let the fine people of rap reviews knew. All right, lads. Shrunk, Aesop Rock. I'm going to give you a very, very, very brief outline of the song before we get into it because it is separated into 3 separate verses. Shrunk is on Impossible Kid, which is kind of Aesop's album of sort of reaching... I was going to say nadir, but that doesn't really make sense. He's reaching a point of his career where he's sort of realised where he's at, what he's been in terms of hip-hop, what his influence has been, where he sits now, and he's sort of just having, like, reflecting on everything and having, like, existential thoughts about where he's at and what he sort of... where he fits into the whole world of hip-hop. So a lot of the song to do with that, which is, like, a lot of his sort of stuff anyway, but it's... earlier stuff was a lot more like Rage Against the Machine, Skate or Die sort of stuff, and now it's like he's sort of gotten old and comfortable with himself, and he's like, oh, I know where I'm at now, you know. It's
Bit of introspection in his old age.
yeah, just like I'm a guy in my 40s, and
You know-
I write rhymes. Like, there's not much more to it.
You know what? Another actually album that I've been, because it's been made available on like streaming services that it wasn't before. Ice Cube's Raw Footage, 2008. It's so good. I used to listen so much as a kid, but like you re-listen to it, and it's kind of like and the same thing, like an older rapper who's like kind of now like
Just accepted himself.
yeah, but he also like wants to kind of change like the outlook, like real. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's the same kind of thing. You know, like a more matured, kind of like Czarface as well. You know, like it's like a more matured rapper who isn't actually talking about like straight out like guns and violence anymore. Like they're saying like. They like look like how they used to
It's
be.
not all showmanship now.
Yeah,
Is
they're
that what you're
literally
trying
trying to like.
I think it's
yeah.
like you get just reached to a certain point. Like, the end of To Pimp a Butterfly, but the Tupac speech is played. And Tupac says that. It's like you don't see many people over the age of 30, like, you know, really into lifting weights or like being really vocal about social issues and whatever else. Because once you hit 30, it's kind of like, oh, well, this is me. I'm comfortable now. Like,
Yeah.
I know where I'm at.
Is that true, Chris?
It is actually. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, resident 30-year-old.
As soon as I hit 30, man,
29
just turned into a full
28
capitalist and just didn't give a fuck.
Don't look a day older,
You
man.
just accept yourself at this age, you know?
I'm kind of looking forward to it, but I'm also terrified about the big 3-0. The end of my 20s, I think, is going to be a very sad day. I get a lot of birthday like anxiety and
for sure.
blues
I'm scared of about
associated.
26 right now because now I'm like in the second half of the 20s.
Are you only 26?
I'm a baby.
Yeah, same with me, baby.
Yeah, we're a week apart, I think.
Really?
Yeah, February?
I'm January 20th.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
like a
now
month
that you
apart.
mention it, those lack
Pretty
of
close.
wrinkles, they really, really highlight how young you are.
Yeah.
Enjoy, boys, because 30 is just
Downhill
anxiety and downhill anyway.
So you're on your way to making your impossible kid, is what you're saying.
Pretty much.
Is this your impossible kid? This podcast?
Yeah.
This is you accepting yourself?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so this song is Shrunk, and it's about Aesop Rock finally building up the courage to go and see a therapist for the first time in his life to deal with all the thoughts that he's been having his entire life.
This is important, I feel, like a rapper telling the kids that it's okay to go and seek some help.
Which is
Okay,
true.
reach out.
Yeah.
of course it is. Yeah.
Especially, I guess, amongst men, like mental health is kind of almost taboo still.
Yeah.
So the first verse is all about Aesop having these thoughts and just sort of questioning everything, which sort of leads him to going to see the therapist. So
All right.
let's delve in. Verse 1. My first name is a random set of numbers and letters and other alphanumerics that changes hourly forever. My last name, 1,000 vowels fading down a sinkhole to a susurrus. It couldn't just be John Doe or Bingo.
Oh yeah, fuck this.
Oh
Actually,
my
now I
God.
like this song, but Jesus, when he's
Boy, what the fuck is he saying? He's got a long name? No, he doesn't have a long name.
No, I think I got it, mate. I think I got
You got it?
Yeah.
What do you got, man? Break it down. I don't think it's that. It sounds like a lot, but it's not.
I think the whole... No, I don't have it.
say
But,
it. Say
now,
it.
the whole sinkhole bit, is that more about... is he sort of already straight going into his like mental health and how he's feeling at the moment and how maybe he doesn't feel like he has much of an identity with the name sort of aspect of the line? Is that... Am I around?
Yeah, you're on the way to it.
Yeah.
I'd say essentially in this
Big
whole...
up.
It's because once you see the whole first verse, it'll make a lot. It all sort of ties in. The whole first verse is essentially him just questioning like every little possible thing you could question.
But
about
Chris
life.
was right.
But you're basically right in what you're saying. Yeah,
Alright,
that's
alright.
basically what he's doing there. My last name's 1,000 vowels down a sinkhole to a susurus. I think that's just Aesop being like unnecessarily wordy in that point. He's basically saying that like, what is it? A susurus is like into a whisper or something? Is that like a susurus? Into a gravel?
I thought that was a dinosaur, dude. I didn't even know what that was.
I thought it was like some sort of shredding machine. I don't know.
Look, it all ties in, man. It all works. Essentially, he's questioning everything. he's wondering what everything means. My first name's a random set of this. It's like nothing means anything. He's being nihilistic essentially, and just trying to put meaning into life.
Yeah,
okay, that makes sense.
And I feel this whole verse is him just like doing that in circles because he's just, like, it's basically his mind just like jumping around.
Like, who am I? What am I? That kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. To the point where it builds where he's like, holy shit, I need to talk to someone about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I think that was hot. Coming here for a second.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
My address is a made-up language written out in living glyphs, lifted from demonic literature and religious texts. My telephone's uncovered by purveyors of the Ouija when checked against the CBGB women's room graffiti. That will need some context.
Ugh. Yeah. Well,
I'm going to take another guess at this.
Yeah.
Go for it. Love it.
Chris is hot. He's 30. He gets it.
He's on the level.
He's hearing that sound. Or like,
You've had these thoughts, man.
Because he was comparing his phone number or his phone with something to do with like religion or
Ouija board.
and then he also talked about his address about something to do with demonic. I don't know, some demonic fantasy or something
Literature,
like that.
yeah.
So is it like he's almost saying, oh no, I'm probably way off, but these possessions that he has, his home, his phone, like none of it is actually real. And it doesn't really define him as a person. I don't know.
Dude, that's 100% straight up. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. He's basically just like...
he's killing it.
Chris is coming into his own tonight.
It's actually the first time I'm listening to lyrics, to be honest.
Yeah, you kind of need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think he's basically just saying like... with the way I look at it, he's basically just like literally questioning every aspect of what humans do every day and being like, none of this really means anything. We've put all this meaning on something. Like my name is just a bunch of numbers and letters thrown together.
Yeah.
My address is words lifted from demonic literature and like biblical studies and shit like
Doesn't
that.
mean anything. Yeah.
So really, it's all just like meaning that we've attached to it. But he's trying to find a deeper meaning in everything, I guess, when there may not be. And really, you should just be happy with like what he can control, I guess.
I guess it's like depression and stuff when you start to like really, I don't know, question the whole like what you live in. You just have problems with it. Yeah. Even when like I don't know. There's always going to be problems in society, but you do make mounds out of molehills, I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing here. And the whole bit about the telephone uncovered by purveyors of the Ouija when checked against the CBGB women's room graffiti. CBGB is apparently a really famous club in New York.
Yeah, the punk club where Ramones got their start.
Fucking trivial.
I used to have a shirt that had CBGB scrawled across it. Yeah, pretty famous shirt.
So how could you forget?
Yeah.
True.
Oh, were you one of those guys that wore like a fucking...
I got given it to me as a gift by my brother-in-law.
Are you a Che Guevara guy?
Of course I had a Che Guevara t-shirt.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a full douche. I love you, but you're a full douche.
You were the
man,
kid
I was
that
like-
had
Did you
that
have a black
t-shirt.
flag?
was like-
Did you have a black flag shirt? Tell me.
Unfortunately, I didn't.
Sonic Youth?
No Sonic Youth, but I definitely had like a Beatles shirt.
Joy Division?
Joy Division.
No Joy Division. Come on, I was a little bit more on the fringes than...
Oh,
like-
yeah, with your Che fucking...
Come on, man. I was like 13 or 14. Give me a break.
Yeah, I wasn't doing that at 13, 14.
You weren't aware that the guy was full into nuclear fucking holocausts and shit, right? Yeah. You weren't
Yeah, I feel like you're simplifying Che Guevara's struggle, and we won't get into a debate about Che Guevara. I got a lot of lyric to unpack.
We can get into Che another time. But the guy was like...
Yeah, he liberated the Cuban people anyway.
Yeah, he started off...
He was also homophobic and a racist.
Yeah,
but anyway,
a lot of things. All right, let's move on. Yeah.
Went nuts where even fucking Castro was like, you got to get out of here. Like, anyway, let's just keep going.
So yeah, CBGB women's room graffiti. I think he's just saying like that you could find his number there because you built like for a
Or
good time.
maybe-
You find numbers on bathroom walls.
Maybe he could even find... maybe
unless
he could even-
their bathroom's known for having something.
He could even find like more meaning in a like message that's on a bathroom wall than
Straight up.
what he's looking for. I don't know. Maybe that's
that
a
makes
deeper
sense.
cut.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Often, like those are quite profound messages that you see scribbled onto the side of bathroom stalls. I don't know. I do anyway when I'm super wasted. I'm looking at something.
I used to see a lot
and
of
I'm reading
shit
it.
smeared on bathroom walls, especially at our high school. Human feces, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought you said shit smears, but I was just wanted to double
Smears
check.
of shit, yeah.
No, he's fine. He's just a spider.
Anyway.
You know what's weird? You're talking about that though. Like when I was in Europe, on the back of a toilet, it was like Donovan. Do you know Donovan the singer?
Yeah.
Like Season of the Witch and shit. Anyway, it was like here's like an old paint, like photos of him, but all of his eyes were like painted in red, like they're like, and it was like it's still that image still sticks in my head. So it just randomly comes to me, and like if I listen to Donovan, who I like, but I'll always just think of that the back of that toilet with like all his eyes. Just it's like why Donovan?
Bizarre.
It's such a why Donovan? Why does he have these devil eyes? What does it all mean?
What does it all mean?
I don't know.
Dude,
There's meaning in everything, isn't there? Oh my god, is this something with the Aesop story?
Yeah, this is it. Dude. You're unpacking the song.
And unpacking our own minds in the process.
Let's stop.
Yeah, we should go see someone after this. My social... So I'm guessing he's talking social number. My social security number. My social is Sudoku. My age is obscure. My in case of emergency is in the daisies chasing birds.
Yeah, I feel like it's the same. Like, none of the shit matters, pretty much.
It's pretty much the entire verse. But I do absolutely love that line that he's in case of emergency is in the daisies chasing birds, which I'm assuming he's talking about his cat.
Yeah,
Because that's basically the only thing that, like, he really spends time with anymore, or, like, cares for him enough, or yada yada, I guess.
is Kirby's after this?
It is. I'll get into that after as well.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the song about his cat does follow this one on the album.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm guessing he's talking about his cat here. So saying the only person who's sort of close to him is his cat, and even his cat couldn't really give a shit about him. He's out chasing daisies in the,
If you want to see the cat,
Cats are like the worst companion animal.
if you want to see the cat, you can. It's in the film clip for Kirby.
It is. It's great. Yeah, the actual cat is in it, isn't it?
It is super fucking cute.
Yeah, it is. It's a great video. Employed by trillionaires with perfect teeth and paws, and who have people who open doors for the people who open doors.
Talking about sycophants in the music industry.
Maybe not specifically, but sycophants, yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
As a whole, have people who open doors for people who open doors. Is that just like a reference to how wealthy they are?
Basically,
Like,
yeah, to the point where you have like unnecessary, meaning and
Yeah.
needs and whatever else.
And it's super funny as well.
Yeah, it's a great line.
Yeah, it sounds great when you listen to it as well.
My medical history is a course at SUNY Buffalo, charlatan psychiatry and troubleshooting undertow. Nervous in the service, still on burger meat and purple pills here. Thank you. We'll call your name, sure you will.
A charlatan is someone who, like a snake oil salesman, right? They're a con artist. They sell you a
100% nailed. That's exactly what it is.
That's what a charlatan psychologist. Sorry, there was a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, there is. There's charlatan psychiatry and troubleshooting undertow.
So he feels like the system, like going to psychiatrist or
It's all
getting
bullshit.
a prescription medication.
it's
Is
all
like
rip.
it's like
Yeah.
it's all like a
Being sold a
the
fucking
whole
flower
waiting.
pill.
it's a racket.
That whole wait, like we'll wait. Fuck, what was that line about waiting? We'll call your name. Is that sort of like being at like a doctor's surgery or something? And it's
Yes,
like,
that's basically him, the very end of his verse, finally putting it up and going like, all right, I'm going in. And he walks in and that's the person says, okay, I'll take a seat, we'll call your name.
But he's deeply skeptical of it before he even goes to it.
He is indeed.
Yeah.
And then that I'm nervous in the service still. So yeah, he's basically there and he's ready to go and he's paid for the service, but he's still nervous and unsure about it. And he's basically saying, I'm just burger meat and purple pills. So he just feels like,
Yeah, that's all he's been eating.
yeah.
That's what he is.
that's all he is. He's just a pill off of burger meat and purple pills. I'm nothing more. What do I need this for?
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
That makes sense. Like we're never sure if we're right or wrong with this show. But
Yeah.
that seems accurate.
It's pretty. We'll go with that. And then instead of a chorus on this song, he kind of just has this weird little interlude bit in between each of the verses where he just says he's shrunk, which means like obviously he's going to see a shrink, which is the title of the song, Shrunk.
Yeah.
But this interlude, he says, skipped lunch, I'm shrunk. So I think it's just a funny way of him saying like he's thinner because he skipped lunch, so he's shrunk. Maybe because he's nervous, he can't eat. Who knows?
That is wordplay.
Maybe because he feels like his mind is shrinking by having to go to shrink.
Yeah.
But also when you're like,
no, so that wasn't clear from the sound effects.
By
I
the
like
way,
the sound
listeners,
effects though.
Yeah, find me
more
after.
of those, please.
Ben does that. Like when he like really where it's something an idea or something slaps for him, he'll do those.
Who
noises.
needs,
Yeah, it's
who
'cause
needs a
in my-
soundboard when we've got Ben?
In my brain, I'm going to say something, but then, like, as the thoughts happening in my brain about to come out, something else will cut it off and be like, "No, that was really genius." Then that's why I say it. That's like, dude. Yeah, it's me working it out.
I'll take it as a compliment then whenever you can't think of words, whenever it's just sounds that
Yeah,
come out
I
of your
don't do
mouth.
that for everybody, kid.
Oh, stop it.
Okay, verse 2. Verse 2 is essentially Ace just sitting in the waiting room, looking at everything around him, and he's now got that time to think, haven't made the right decision, what's going on, looking at everyone else here, freaking out in the waiting room for however long he has to wait. You pack up all your manias, you're sitting in the waiting room, you're dreaming of Arcadia, you're feeling like a baby tooth.
Jesus. So like he's trying to like he's lining up all his mental problems that he thinks he has at least while he's waiting. Like he's getting them all ready to tell, to unload them onto someone, I guess. Is that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
I think he's more saying, well, mania's when you have like a manic episode, isn't it like either like it's very explosive, either like it is very explosive, quick expression of emotion.
But he says mania is like plural.
Yeah, so he says you pack up all your manias. You're sitting in the, so I'm guessing he's saying he's now like.
But like there's like different types of like mental conditions. Some people have like a few. Some people like fucking. Some people have all of them. It's crazy. So like, I think
he's saying he's putting them all into a box and like just shoving him away for a second while he's waiting and trying to compose himself in front of to look normal in front of the other people. In the
yeah,
because he's so used to bottling everything.
Yeah. So then maybe once he gets into the therapist, then he can be like, all right, here it all is.
Yeah.
Does that tie into the reference of baby teeth? And when you lose your baby teeth, I don't know. Some people might hold them as a memento. That's actually kind of creepy. Who the fuck holds their baby teeth?
I may have a tooth somewhere.
I got my wisdom teeth still. I held them. I kept them.
People hold foreskin, dude.
I got four.
Some people use that foreskin to harvest certain moisturizers, which apparently give you like eternal youth looking.
Oh, that is so fucking dumb. Really? Is that
this is actually a legit thing where they.
It's a legit thing.
It's not foreskin per se, but it's stem cell.
I was going to say, you just rip any bit of skin off. It's just skin, essentially.
But like that's been miscontorted by QAnon to say that like the Clintons are like harvesting children for their foreskin to make themselves. Anyway, that's a whole rabbit hole we shouldn't go down. We've got enough rabbit holes to go down here.
Yeah, I really don't think we have time to go down that.
But back to the baby tooth. I think he's basically just saying, when a baby tooth's wiggly and it's on the verge of popping out. That's how he feels in the waiting room. As a baby tooth. He's like, he's wriggling around. He's almost there.
Oh, that makes sense.
I think
that's
good.
Well, yeah, we never know, but that seems right.
Yeah.
Gotta stop saying that. Gotta stop clarifying. Just if someone's like just first time they're listening, like this guy's claiming to fucking know everything. We don't, but
No. I had to look up a couple of things for this, but
has he confirmed it himself?
I've just listened to the song a million times.
Well, then we don't know. We don't know then.
I feel like he's wriggling, dude. He's on edge. He's almost out. It's sore too. As soon as you get it out, you're like, there you go.
It felt good, I guess.
I miss losing teeth. It'll happen again. It's all right.
Do you really? Yeah. I don't know. I always have bad dreams where
I love that feeling when
you
tongue the little hole.
Get the tongue out there.
Oh, dude. I don't know what it is, but I read something about that.
What's his name? Fucking Sigmund Freud. Yeah, he was all about how like if you have that
fuck
dream,
your mother.
Yeah, it means something. He's fuck that guy. Honestly, why don't we still listen to these people?
Because he's hilarious.
He's nuts.
Okay. Awaiting panacea, channeling your inner Beowulf in purgatory just before you pay up to fillet yourself and others.
Oh, you're in a Beowulf.
Yeah, well, I figured you'd light up on the Beowulf.
The purgatory reference is, where you're pretty much in limbo.
Yeah.
So and he's filleting himself in purgatory?
So I think let me read this. Awaiting panacea, channeling your inner Beowulf in purgatory just before you pay up to fillet yourself and others. So is he saying that?
A Beowulf fights a beastie, right?
Yeah, he sort of saves the community by like taking on this thing.
taking on this thing. And also it's one of the oldest stories.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I randomly just saw I was looking at something the other day about that, how it's super old. One of the first stories written down or something, but it is a really super duper old story.
Who was the Beowulf? Just for the uninitiated, okay.
Well, she's kind of from memory, she's kind of almost they think it's a big dragon thing, but it's actually kind of like a succubus lady. But I don't know.
Isn't there some sort of
I'm going off the movie though that was fucked.
But isn't there something that comes to the village and tries to terrorize it, and then the Beowulf protects them all? And
I know it's apparently the read is great. It's I think it's you're one of those old ones where it's super wordy and hard to read. Yeah. But I imagine it would be great, kind of like Dante's Inferno. Have you ever tried to read that?
Yeah, that's.
It's I really want to, but unless you have an abridged version, it's fucked. It's like a Heart of Darkness. Try to read an unabridged version of that. Even it's that's only 200 years old. Beowulf and the other one, Dante's, they're 600 years old. So the English is what are you even saying right now, sir? I don't know. And it's going down the street is this fucking nuts, a paragraph. And anyway, so the movie is fucked. So I think I deleted that. I tried to delete it from my memory, you know what I mean? Right. The movie itself, but that is what that would have given me. But this is probably poor research. I shouldn't have talked about Beowulf. But don't ever watch.
I think basically he's just saying he's trying to channel the Beowulf to be I don't know how to explain that to
be strong, maybe.
Yeah, to be strong, come out and maybe be stronger than the emotions that he's feeling of it all, rather than dealing with it, being like putting on that tough exterior to like deal with the situation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We're talking to the therapist, I'm guessing.
Yeah. It is basically like we said before. It is about a guy coming to town and saving the town from like a big beastie. So like and like the hero, I guess, is like the most important thing. It probably just rhymed. You got to use any hero.
But it also almost contradicts the next line, because then it says he's in purgatory just before you pay up to fillet yourself and others. Which I'm guessing he means he's going to go in and feel like a dissection. He's going to get like ripped apart, and he's also going to have to throw a few other people under the bus as well when he's in there.
Kind of like an episode of this. Anyway, what were you going to say, Kieran?
No, Ben described exactly.
Was that what you were about to
Just
say?
way more eloquently. Don't worry. I was going to say. I was going to like say a few fucking nouns here, a few adjectives there, and try and string something together. But you said it very succinctly.
I was pretty happy with dissect, to be honest. I just don't know where that came from, but
It's a good word.
No,
I mean,
it's
he's encouraging us to really explore the deeper reaches of our vocabulary.
good. Yeah.
yeah, he is, man. This is why I wanted to do an Aesop song. And as I said, this is one of the easier ones that we could have done, which is insane to say.
Yeah, that
Scratching the
is much.
surface.
Yeah, so if you don't know Aesop rock, that's a little taste for y'all. Get involved, get amongst it, and he's very good. In the name of help.
Such a fanboy, I love it.
Oh, I am, dude. I love it. Oh, my God. My God. In the name of help, I'm coal on a conveyor belt. Into ego death alone, no telephone from Gabriel.
Coal on a conveyor belt is, and he's helpless. Like once he signs himself up and he's in that room, there's no going back. He's going to be sent to the inferno or
potentially turn into a diamond, man. Maybe that's what's going down.
And
Maybe he's going to come out better on the other end of it.
And that reference about Gabriel, is that the angel of death, Gabriel?
It is indeed, man. That's exactly it. I think he's just saying, like, into ego death alone. No telephone.
Wisdom, boy. Wisdom.
That's that Catholic background, baby.
But he's saying he's going into ego death alone, so there's no Gabriel to, like, explain to him what's going on.
One thing about Gabriel, he went and saw Jesus right before he died, didn't he?
Was that Gabriel?
Yeah, wasn't that Gabriel? Like in the with the tomb? I'm just like,
No, I don't think that was Gabriel.
no. I thought that was Gabriel. He saw him like.
Oh, actually, maybe you're right. I don't know. I don't remember, actually.
I know he's an angel.
I thought Gabriel was the one that saw...
He's definitely an angel.
I thought Gabriel was the one that saw Joseph.
Oh, maybe.
Jesus' dad.
No.
It's been a while since I've read the Bible.
Gabriel...
No, I know. I'm pretty sure that didn't he like help him, tell him like to lift the tomb? Isn't that Gabriel?
Oh, maybe you're right. I don't know.
I swear like that was Gabriel.
Maybe
Whereas,
Gabriel
like,
just does
you
it
have-
all, man.
I think moral of the story, our theology is all off. For at least 3 of us went to Catholic school.
I know. They taught it to us for 12 years, and we
Were you
can't
paying
remember like
attention in any of
rookie
those
shit, like
classes?
which exactly.
See, I never
angel-
got that. My dad like used to say to me, "I'll write you a letter if you want to get out of scripture." And I was like, "No, I don't mind. That's interesting." But
It's interesting. It's also a good
you could write a
period
letter to get out of
slack off
scripture,
into
do you?
nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. If some of it was good, some of it was like bullshit. I don't know.
Yeah,
It depends on
one of their scripture teachers in grade 7 told me that my dad was going to go to hell.
Well, that's
So
fucked.
there you go.
I do think religion
for a 12-year-old.
is super interesting. Like it's a cool. Like my cousin had a better where it was like they just researched the religions, like every religion. I think that sounds like the best way to do it. I think do all of them, like learn about all of them, and then you can help.
Give them all a go. Have,
Give-
have a bar mitzvah, followed by a communion, followed by I can't tell you any of the other sacred rites or passages for.
Get your hand for your
religions.
religious baskets. Good.
Yeah. Go to a Scientology thing and hold the pole.
Oh, don't
do
decide.
that.
Don't
Islamic
be
is strictly
brainwashed.
bark off. Don't do that. You ain't getting out.
Yeah, I don't know about the whole Gabriel thing, man. I'm trying to look it up, but
yeah, basically what you said was correct, man. He's the archangel or whatever.
I think it was his cousin Derek or something like that.
Cousin Derek.
Oh, no, that's Gabriel. That's his cousin.
I don't know.
So yeah, he's basically going into ego death alone. He's putting himself into the furnace essentially and being like, "Oh, I got no one else to back me up here. I'm going to figure this out myself."
Like, let's do this. That kind of shit.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Leroy Jenkins, man. I'm half a human combing over home and garden stoned. Gold chains over turtleneck, cigars over cologne. I think that literally just means he's just reading Home and Garden, the magazine, while waiting in the waiting room.
And describing what he's seeing on the pages.
Yes.
But who in did you say like Home and Garden? Who in Home and Garden is dressing like The Rock in that famous photo where he's wearing that black turtleneck with the gold chain?
Yeah, but I was actually confused with that line. I don't know if he's talking about himself. Like,
Or maybe the advertisements that enter every magazine.
maybe.
Oh, yeah,
They will
cigars,
always-
cologne, yeah.
I don't know. Like when
Seems
he's
like,
that's
seems
pretty
like a
solid,
strange
yeah.
demographic to advertise cigar and cologne.
I know. And I don't think. I know in Australia you can't have tobacco advertised, but I don't think you can in America as well. So How the fuck are they selling these?
Maybe it's a really like upmarket home and garden. Maybe it's a really
well, like it's like a photo, like a watch. It's like a watch photo. You know, it's like the guy, like the Omega. You know, like
that's
there's
the same as cologne ones,
and they're usually like fucking
Armani or whatever.
Yeah, they look like cologne. Yes, that's a good one. That's what he's talking about probably. Right? Those guys are usually really like sexy businessmen.
Yeah,
like probably holding a cigar. They're like black and white photos.
Be European.
Yeah, it'll be like in the corner. Maybe that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, maybe
that makes sense. This is basically saying the same. 1,000 shitty paintings wrapped around a wounded animal. Woo him with the Schubert. He's a future human cannonball.
What?
Future human cannonball is in like he's ammo. He's about to be loaded up for whatever. Who's loading him up though? The psych?
Yeah, well, the situation, I guess, but like basically he's loading himself up essentially by taking himself there.
As in, like he has a lot of latent energy right now, like a lot of potential energy. He could blow up at any second, given how much gunpowder he has, or how much like mania he has wrapped inside of his head at the minute.
I think that's totally it. I think it's like he's basically. He's sitting there now as the wounded animal around a bunch of shitty paintings that are going to be in a waiting room.
I tell you what,
to make you feel relaxed. But once he gets in, that he's going to be flying off the walls. That's what's going on. He's going to let it all out. What's going on in his head, which is a cannonball right now, bouncing around everywhere. I think I'd say.
I tell you what, though, he still hasn't left the fucking room, dude. Like he's still sitting there. He's thinking all of this while he's waiting.
Yeah, this is probably. I'd imagine this would be like 30 seconds of thought to all of this. You know?
That's a lot to wear you down. No wonder.
No wonder he's saying Shrink.
This line's quite funny. Little fuckers fighting, mother hiding in her Hulu. I'm climbing up the stucco. Let's get to the seppuku. Which is a bit. It takes a grim turn.
Seppuku is the Japanese tradition where when you were dishonored, you'd kill yourself.
By sword?
Or to regain honor. The only way to regain honor was to
I learned that from Tekken. You know Yoshimitsu.
Yeah, that's it.
He does the spin.
Stab himself.
You know what's crazy about Japanese culture though? Like back in the if you were a good like samurai. And someone told, like your master told you to kill yourself. He's like, I'm very upset with how you behaved yourself before. Like, you really shouldn't have done that. I need you to commit seppuku.
They do it straight
They
away.
would fucking do it. They'd straight out butts down on the ground like, bah! You know, it's like, word.
Well, has so much respect.
Haven't you heard that story? I think it's called, I forgot what the number is. It's like 97 Ronin or 87 Ronin.
That famous.
But it's all those samurais where their master gets killed, so they decide to go find the person who kills their master. And as soon as they find the person, they kill them. And then all the samurais who did that end up then killing themselves. Because their whole theory or their whole thing was like, there's no point living on the planet without a master, like without purpose. So their whole purpose was to find the person that killed their master.
And then without that purpose...
And then without the master, they were just like, oh, okay, well now we might as well just kill ourselves. And all of them killed themselves after.
But isn't it like a legend? Or is it actually like... There's like... It's true. Like...
I have no idea.
Yeah, because I know it's like... Maybe it's one of those like Troy things where... Because I know it's like, super famous, but is it real? Yeah. I don't know why I'm asking you like...
I have no idea, dude.
He was there.
I think I got it from the Keanu Reeves movie, to be honest. I don't even know. So...
That's fucked. It's twice.
I don't know why we're talking about this.
No, it was good though. I think
that was a nice sidebar.
Well, I didn't know what seppuku was. So basically, he's having suicidal ideation right now.
Yeah, that one's it's a very dark turn. All of a sudden, I'm climbing up the stucco, which is like it's like a
plaster, right?
Yeah. So up the wall, I'm guessing. I'm climbing up the wall. Let's get to the seppuku. So he's going in to fillet himself, as he said earlier. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
His own thoughts are driving him up the wall.
Yeah,
and normally like the woman with the child, like not looking after.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
That would normally piss him off more. But he's like, "Don't worry, it's going to be over soon."
Yeah.
You know.
Did you get to pick that? So little fuckers fighting, mother hiding in her Hulu, like a streaming app, because she doesn't want to deal with it.
Yeah. So one of those parents is just like fucking shouldn't have kids, essentially.
Yeah.
But she's going to get some, self-help. So she's doing something right. And it seems like a theme too, talking about seppuku, like throughout this verse, that he's still telling himself like this is pointless, like this is me just like wasting money, and this is this is going to be a horrible experience, is what he's thinking the entire time in the waiting room.
Yeah,
because he keeps referring to like suicide and cutting himself and all this stuff like that. So
yeah,
he's not looking forward to the experience, but he feels it could be something he needs to do.
Yeah,
I would say. Which is also ties into this line. That pretty penny turned the prickly into Benji. If you save up all your winnings, then you get to count your blessings. I finally crunched the budget up and punched the button. She called my name out and pushed me into an oven.
Jesus.
Again, with that theme of like what he's feeling is going into an inferno.
Yeah.
The heat's about to be laid on him. As like a very overarching analysis of those few lines, there's a lot more in which you can annotate, which I feel like is all of these lines.
And kind of like what we were talking about at the start, where like he's kind of in a good place. Really, he should be like in the physical realm. He's in a good place, but he's still like depressed. That's why he's seeing someone.
Yeah, he's looking. It just ultimately seems like he's looking for some sort of purpose or meaning, which I guess everyone is. But now he's sort of hit to the point where he's like, I need to go talk to someone about this and see what I can do about this because it's not doing me any favors.
Makes sense.
And that's the last thing I was just talking, I think, about how much money it costs for therapy. And now he's finally decided, I've got enough. I can go and do this. And turn the prickly into Benji. I'm guessing he's referencing the dog there. And the real, Benji, like Benji off the leash, those movies and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So he's going to go from like a sad, jaded...
Yeah, a bit unsure, uncertain, to
like
all of a sudden, all right, he's
playful...
pricked up, let's go for it.
How many dog movies did they end up making? They made so many.
Beethoven, Air Bud.
Fucking just so many. Like, it's crazy. K9, like...
Shaggy Dog, that
Lassie.
terrible one with Tim Allen.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, not good.
What was up with that?
I know, it was a time.
Late 80s, 90s, they're just all about dog-related shit.
Everyone loves dogs.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is kind of, yeah. Well, some people don't.
What was that other one with
freaks.
Pug? I think it was like Milo or something. What was that one?
Oh!
Well, there's Lilo and Stitch, which looks like a pug.
I'm thinking of Paws, the Australian movie. Or something.
No. You're way off.
There's Red Dog, though, which is also...
Oh, Red Dog.
Yeah.
Big, yeah.
What about Wilfred, which wasn't
Wilfred.
a dog per se?
That's a human. It's a very different show. Great show.
Yeah, good show.
Great Australian show.
Yeah.
Don't watch the American one.
I
It's
actually didn't
fucking
mind the
trash.
American one,
Oh, it's like...
With Elijah?
I just hate when they do that. Like,
Yeah, but the fact that he was still there.
oh, look at
made
the
it.
Aussies. They made a cool little show that, like, not people are going to watch because it's Aussies. So let's get
But he
fucking
went
remake
over
it.
and made it there as well, just with American actors.
Yeah, it's true. Then they
essentially.
say yeah, but I
What
don't
was
know.
that,
I just don't see like how can you just put it on fucking Netflix? You know what I mean? Like, do like just like make the Australian, the original, more like accessible. They did with Kath and Kim.
Or make
Americans
feel like they're a little bit cultured by watching something outside of Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
These accents. I've never heard these. Actually, we should stop talking shit about the Americans because I looked at our stats.
I know they're like definitely like number two. Yeah, they
So we love
and actually
you,
we've actually
Americans.
thank you America. Honestly, like I've been to your country. It's beautiful because you guys have definitely listened to us more than.
But you need to expand your horizons. Go and watch some more Australian shows.
I guess if you're listening to this, it's kind of like we shouldn't be talking
They
shit
really
to
are
them because they're listening to
listening to
Australians. You know?
But the rest of the people in your country, go and tell your friends about rap reviews. Get them on board.
Yeah, you guys are the good ones, man. Go spread the word. So she's pushed him into an oven. Cuts to the next interlude. The fuck? I'm shrunk. Same thing again.
Yeah.
Verse 3 is him so he's finally got to the therapist, and this is sort of his one-on-one battle with the therapist the entire time. She says, I'm not your enemy. I said, that sounds like something that my enemy would say instead of playing off the chemistry.
So obviously he doesn't trust his
That's it. Yeah, straightforward. Instead of... that's what's written there. She said, you're being difficult. I said, I'm being guarded. You're $250,000 debt and I get more guidance from my barber.
Such a good line.
How's that for a burn?
I mean, like, the barber is one of the times where you can be completely open and honest. Like,
That's
you're kind
it.
of just
That's
there
100% it.
in your own little world as the barber's, like, going about doing your hair, and you can have just, like, a very honest and sincere and candid yarn with them.
What barber are you going to?
Yeah, I'm bald, so I've stopped going a long time ago. But I used to hate going to the barber.
Oh, I love going to the bar.
the small talk while they're cutting your hair. Like,
But
fuck
small talk can develop into big talk,
I hate when they don't talk. When I try and talk to them, they don't answer. I was like, this is awkward. You're just going through my head. And
I can
no
imagine
one's
you making all the conversation.
Well, I try to. And if they don't, I sort of give up. But
No,
like,
I used to hate. I honestly, one of the best things about going bald is the fact that especially when you'd be like, can you give me like an inch? And they're just like, they go like 4 inches, and you're like, you're fucking my hair up now. Like that's not what I want.
They always have.
And then
it at
they're
one
like
point,
talking to you while they're doing it. It's like, what are you doing this week? And you're like, I hate you right now, dude. Like you fucking.
That's what happens when you go to Just Cuts and spend $10.
Oh, it's true. That would happen at Just
I had a
Cuts.
barber get really upset with me once because I'd been to Just Cuts. And he was like, who cut your hair? And I was like, Just Cuts, man. He was like, oh, dude. He was like, what are you doing, man? He's like, don't, and then like, every couple of minutes through the haircut, I'd be like, "Oh, what is this? What's happening?" And he's like, "Bro, you have to come back. Like, I can't fix this today. He's gonna it's least like 6 months. You have to come back for like 4 or 5 haircuts."
Holy shit! Like,
It was true.
He's
I
trying to
went back
sell
like
your
4
whole
times, and
package.
finally, they had it back, and he was like, "There it is, man. We got it. We got there eventually."
That guy's a genius.
Yeah, he was great. He looked like Bronson
No,
too.
just in terms of like how to sucker you into we have to break this down. It's gonna have to, you know.
He's one of those tough like London dudes. He always wore a beret. He was scary, man.
Like a fucking art critic looking at like a, I don't know, a Ken Dome piece. Being like, what is this fucking Philistine piece of work?
Pretty much. He was genuinely offended that I'd gone somewhere and paid money for that. And he was like, "How long would it take him to do that?" And I was like, 10, 15 minutes. He goes, "Oh." It takes a minimum of 30 to 35 minutes for a male's haircut at a barber.
A minimum.
Any less and they're not doing the job properly.
Any minute, like
literally every barber I've been to since, it's never been less than like 40
That's
minutes.
because those barbers, they spend half their fucking time talking to you. They'll put the scissors down.
That's what I'm
and
there
be
for.
like,
It's not just a
"Anyway."
haircut, dude.
Yeah.
It's
Are you one of
experiments,
the like, they give you a beer, fucking pale ale cut?
man. Yeah. I'll get you to IPA.
I love the free beer.
Arnie
man.
Donald,
I love
shout
the
out.
free beer.
Well, it's not really a free beer. You pay for it in the price.
Yeah, you pay for the $40.
That is true, but I'm getting free therapy, dude. Because the therapy's like, what, $100 an hour? This is like $40. I get my fade done, and I get to get, some grievances.
So
off my
are you
chest.
friends with your guy?
I have different guys, man. Yeah, I'm that guy.
Yeah, but okay.
I'm not the kind of one to like pull out my phone and start taking selfies for Instagram. We're like, and tag him in it and stuff. But like, I'll yarn.
Yeah.
I'll have a chat.
Yeah.
Fair.
I'll see how his weekend's going. If he's taking the
But
kids
you
down
don't
the
go
boat
to
or
the same
something.
guy all the time.
Nah, I've got like a sort of 3 or 4 that I go around.
Oh shit! You're a bit of a floozy.
Hey,
when
no,
it
it's
comes
alright.
to-
It's alright.
when it comes to hair.
Promiscuous with your barber.
Alright. Sometimes I get a couple working in the hair at once.
Can they tell when you've been to other barbers? Of course, because like the length of time between.
Yeah, but I always have some sort of excuse to be like, "Oh man, I was going to come to you a couple weeks ago and ended up going away for the weekend and just needed a cut."
They can
Yeah, I'm a
tell.
terrible
They
person.
know that there's no good barbers
There wasn't
outside
a
of the big
fucking-
cities.
They know that haircut took less than 35 minutes, man. They can tell straight away. What can you do?
I'm kind of feeling a little bit envious of the cut now. I want to go get one, but it's been
What's the point?
Anyway, let's move on.
Okay. So you're $250,000 debt. I get more guidance from my barber. Look, I'm not good at this. I grew up in a noogie fest. You built your walls up high and said goodbye to all your cookie puss.
Grew up in a noogie fest.
What?
As in like what he grew up in an environment where his head was constantly being pounded.
Okay, bit of context. Aesop Rock has 2 brothers. He's the middle child.
Okay,
Oh,
all
okay.
right, yeah.
So-
And a noogie's.
And noogies, in the head. You get someone in a headlock and give them the
Yeah.
knuckles to the top of their head. No, yeah. It's always an older brother thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you think that's kind of feeding into his insecurity about going to a psychiatrist? That his brothers would kind of look at him as a lesser person?
It's 100% it.
Full
It's exactly
bro
what he's saying.
bro culture. Yeah.
Because he basically just took a shot at her by saying, "You're $250,000 in debt and I get more guidance from my barber." And it got personal. And that's when he stopped himself and was like, "Okay, look, I'm not good at this. I grew up in a noogie fest." So now he's actually kind of breaking himself down for her and dropping his walls a little bit.
Yeah.
Because he feels bad because he attacked her because he's just frustrated and didn't know how to be vulnerable, I guess. In
Vulnerable,
front of
Yeah,
her.
that's it.
Wrapped up in toxic masculinity.
That's it. That's
Wow. I think this is an important episode that we're doing.
It's a
guys.
very important episode, man. Very important artist. Everyone get out there and check out Aesop Rock.
Shut the fuck up.
You don't need to whisper it. Scream it from the rooftops.
And I think he's saying to her, "You've built your walls up high or said goodbye to all your cookie puss." I had to look at this. Apparently Cookie Puss was like an ice cream character in the 70s. So I think he's saying that she's past it, like she could figure it out. She became an adult and, left all these thoughts behind, whereas I'm still struggling. It's easy for you. It's not easy for me to talk about this.
But don't psychiatrists traditionally have a whole bunch of like problems as well?
There is a thing of people who choose psychology.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Here's one. Every time my telephone buzzes, I see images of hooded riders setting fire to hundreds. She said, "When you start getting all expressive and symbolic, it's impossible to actualize an honest diagnostic." I said, "When you start getting all exact and algebraic, I'm reminded it's a racket and not a rehabilitation."
Ooh.
I mean, that's beautiful and almost doesn't need breaking down. I think trying to break it down would almost be a crime.
That's such a good line.
It sounds so
Yeah.
good when he says it too.
Yeah.
Like just the way those words all fit together. Like, oh.
I know.
But it's like he's envisioning hooded characters setting fire to people. Is he like envisioning the KKK?
Whoa. Not necessarily. Not specifically.
I think he's just like when he's having bad thoughts, essentially, but like he's making them really cryptic, and she's like, "I'm never going to be able to like break through if you start because like I guess you think about this song, like it's like this guy's on a high intellect and stuff. So even like her, you know, this psychiatrist is like. She's like, you're gonna have to be a little bit like, you have to be a little bit more like, I guess, normal.
Layman's terms,
yeah, like than just giving me like all these.
I guess that sort of goes into like Aesop as like a whole, and everything he's ever brought out. It's kind of like that's how he deals with his problems is by just writing them in these really fantastical ways, because that's the only way he can actually. Which is like a lot of artists are like that. We use their art to express how they're actually feeling on the inside. And I guess that's what the only way he can actually express it is if he makes massive metaphors and this and that, because then it doesn't. I suppose it has less of a burden on him then, because it's not. It's kind of like. Well, there it is. Take what it is, rather than being actually open and exposed to somebody.
But she's like, you can't actually talk to me like this. Like, it's
Do you think then, by us annotating these lyrics, that we're actually doing his psychiatry work for free for him?
Possibly, but I doubt he'll ever listen to this fucking show.
I'd imagine this woman's probably doing a better job.
we can give him a shout out and be like, "Hey, Aesop, here's a free psych."
Let's shout out to Aesop Rock, man. Come on the show. That's it, though, isn't it?
Almost. Okay. Agree to disagree as grown-ups from opposing clans. Honouring the push and pull. I should have called the Scola-mance.
Oh, man, he says
and I kind of know what he's talking about.
Hooded figures. I don't know, man. I think he's got some like deep-seated fucking like white supremacy in him.
You know what though? When I first heard this song, I did think the exact same thing.
It took me a long time to realise what that line meant, but I guess now I think about it, he's just whenever his phone calls, it's like chaos for him because people want his attention. He can't be a recluse, and he's like, "Oh my god!" And now it's like people coming to attack him when they just want to.
But it could be a double meaning, right? It could mean that, and it could be the whole clan connection.
That he's also deep down a clansman.
Yeah,
very possible.
Grand Wizard Aesop.
Maybe to look back through this album for little plants and seeds.
He's been living those bright breadcrumbs all through it.
So yeah, I think there he's just saying sort of that he's got to the point where he doesn't want to listen to what she says. He's going to be stubborn and not change because then he has to do some work then. So he's basically saying, okay, look, at this point we're not going to agree. We're grown-ups from different upbringings, clans. Let's just agree to disagree and leave it there. And then he says,
just saying that to a psychiatrist. Listen, I know I've paid you, but I don't actually agree.
But then as soon as he says that, he just goes back to writing her off because then he goes, I should have called the Scola-mance, which I had to look up, but apparently is like the legendary school of black magic run by the devil.
The Scola-man.
So he's basically saying like, oh look, I should have gone and seen a psychic almost because they'd give me, and that's all bullshit. We know.
Yeah. I'm just like at the start was saying how it's important to go see someone and then it's like this,
He's completely shutting down.
Yeah, he's shutting down our idea to tell people to go.
Yeah, he's gotten upset that she's tried to pull something out of him, and he's basically just gotten very defensive.
I'm sure
away.
It would work for most people, just maybe not for Aesop.
Yeah,
for most like normal functioning people whose IQ is like at a normal level, on like right in the middle of that bell curve, maybe even a little bit above. Whereas Aesop's like sitting right down on that far right tail, far right, KKK. Oh my god,
it's all coming together.
Push a narrative.
With the internet these days, we could set up a fucking article and be like, Aesop is a Klansman, and we'd have thousands of people telling each other. They would jump on it. They would need very little, very like this episode. Let's just print it out. Let's get it in the paper.
Let's get him cancelled. That's it.
He would become like the most venerated person within like 4chan.
But funny you do say all of that because he, after saying all of that and saying, all right, we're going to disagree. You're not helping me, this and that. Does a full 180. Oh, well, preservation is a doozy. Will you be needing another appointment? Absolutely. I'm shrunk. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so he realizes the value in therapy at the end of it.
Yeah, he's just not quite ready to properly be vulnerable. He needs a few more sessions to get there.
He's got some thick walls to get broken through. Yeah. Those are fucking Constantinople.
You got some thick stucco to get around it.
The therapist is going to be like your barber, like, oh, your shit is fucked up. You're going to have to come in at least for like once a month for like 6 months.
Yeah, he's been doing his own Just Cuts thing on his own mind for too long.
We're going to need to up the dosage.
Wait, you mean writing rap songs every time you feel depressed? Oh my god. Oh, G-boy.
So that's Shrunk, ladies and gentlemen.
Sick.
We should give it some BPMs, yeah?
Yeah, I was going to quickly add before we get into BPMs, just 1 second.
No.
Just real quick. This is pretty cool. I'm pretty... Let me just get into it.
You can't see his face, but he's doing it like, anyway.
Yeah, that's not me normal.
That joke doesn't sell as well. We can't see your face.
Not,
yeah.
well.
Anyway.
This song, the song that follows this song on the album is Kirby, which is a song about his cat and how he acquired this cat. And now that's like the one thing. Now he has a purpose. He has a cat to take care of. He doesn't have children. He lives alone. He's not married. Now he finally has something that he has like a responsibility over and he needs to, show up every day and be there for. And then at the very end of the song Kirby, after explaining a whole 3 minutes just about this cat and what it does inside of his apartment and how he just loves it, at the very end he says, I've had 15 years of taking prescriptions. Now my shrink says, oh no, maybe get a kitten. So it ties back into the song before. And that's essentially like he's done this arm wrestle with the shrink long enough before it realizes, oh my God, just get a kitten. I'm sick of having you in my office. And it seems to have actually helped the guy a little bit. Yeah, he says he loves a cat. Constantly tweets about it and this and that.
So there you go. Try out psychiatry if it doesn't work. Just get a cat.
Just get a cat.
I might get a dog, actually.
No, that wasn't the message, Chris. It was a cat.
Yeah, it was a cat.
No, you can get whatever animal makes you fucking feel good. If it's fish, if it's like,
Yeah, what fish do? They're just nice to look at.
I think fish are cool. I liked fish. I worked at a pet store. I thought they were cool. Maybe pretty to look
a cute
at.
little bat.
No. There's enough bats in Sydney. You don't need to pay for a bat.
Just domesticate one.
They just peel over themselves. That's all it's going to be.
Yeah, so do cats.
Oh, that's true.
So do dogs.
But bats directly pee on themselves.
Anyway, let's throw some BPMs at this bitch and call it a day.
Down. When you got Ray, you first up, boy.
Oh, I don't know. Going through it, it's like this show we judge entirely off lyrics, and like obviously the song still sounds like it's really well written. I actually think there's not a lot of rap songs that talk about this kind of stuff, and I think it's interesting and cool, and he's a genius. I don't know, like 80.
Oh, nice.
It's high. It's really high. I don't know. It's hard to criticize a song. Like maybe just sometimes it is really algebraic and shit. You can't understand it, but that's
a bit too much.
Yeah, but that's like fucking. It's also part of the point. So you can't really take.
He
too
has
much
also said that in a song before. Where his lyrics can be too. I can't remember the word he uses.
Like cryptic and shit.
Basically saying that, though. Yeah, it can end up just being a fog at the end. If you just listen to it in the background, you're like, what is going on?
And there's not that, like, when you listen to the song, even if you just, like, bopping along to it, you don't get the, as thinking about some of it now, but you definitely know what his point of the whole, I guess that's why it gets a little bit repetition, like the first and second verses. But anyway, I've gone on for long enough, but it's a really good song.
Yeah. 480?
Yeah, 480.
Nice.
I'm gonna say around the same as you. I'm just gonna go the same as you. How about that?
Just ditto me, man. You can do that.
480. Like, I don't know how to criticize that 20 that I'm giving out here. But I mean, the dude's a lyrical fucking genius. We discussed that at the top of the show. It's proved by science. And I think it's a very important message as well. I don't know, like there are definitely rappers out there who talk about mental health. It was beginning back in the 90s, even when gangster rap was huge. Like people like the Far Side and stuff were talking about mental health, but maybe not
and even
as clearly.
Ghetto Boys that we did.
Yeah, maybe not as clearly or as openly as Aesop is, and definitely not as literally as Aesop.
Like
is.
literally.
Like literally. But like, it's hard to fault this song for its lyrics. It's fucking poetry in action, and the dude's fucking better than Shakespeare. Come at me.
Come at him, Shakespeare, dude. Nothing you can do.
Christopher Cross?
Yeah, like I really liked it. I thought it was cryptic, but not too cryptic, to the point where it was almost like every verse was a bit of a puzzle, but a puzzle that you enjoy doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like the old Crippo on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Not that I can do cryptic crosswords, but...
I had no idea what you were talking about. I thought you were talking about El Chapo or something. I was like, is he here? He's back?
No,
El Chapo on a Saturday morning. Anyway, whatever.
I thought it was good, and like the topic he chose as well was deep, and it was something that a lot of people go through. It was like, I don't know, for me, it just hit everything. It hit every mark. So I'm going to go 490.
Nice.
I thought you were going to go perfect score for him.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Yeah.
No, because nothing's perfect, but at the same time,
we've all given.
You are so over 30, man. It's crazy.
Nothing's perfect, dude. But I mean, if it had to be perfect, it would be this
Still,
track. But
490.
490.
Still, yeah, solid.
Still nice.
What are you going to give it, Ben?
I don't know what to give it now. So scared. I don't like rating things. I don't know. That's why I don't have a favorite movie. It's so hard. Dude.
Yeah.
I'll go 495. I think it's an almost flawless song.
Yeah.
Especially in that album.
You can give it a 500. You'd have to follow Chris's
but
law.
that's so scary, man. Especially because I picked the songs. If I come and give it 500, it's like, yeah, I'm the best. I picked the best song. You know?
We've done that before,
I gave a Tribe
though.
Called Quest, a song that I picked, 500.
Yeah, it's fair. They're good.
Yeah, I feel like
I don't think it deserved
fair enough.
500.
I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure I've given a song I chose a 500. Like that's why you chose it.
I gave J. Cole 500 last week just because it was J. Cole. Had to shout out for the boy.
Nah, from memory it was 4.99, not Kendrick Lamar.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. I did say
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Well, with memory, dude. Yeah.
Despite all the weird, that's like
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get 500. Yeah, thank you, man. That's G'd me up. 500. I think Aesop Rock's incredible. I think it's an incredible song. It speaks to me. It speaks to everyone. I think everyone can relate to this song. Super wordy. Just said maybe a bit too wordy sometimes. References are a bit too obscure. But in saying that, when the references are more obscure, it makes me look it up, and then there's something new that I've learned. So 500, man.
Yeah.
It's good that he's
Nice.
getting his shit out and he's trying to figure it out. You know.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
If you're having any mental health issues, make sure you call Lifeline, Beyond Blue,
Yeah, speak to
all
somebody.
those services.
Yeah, they are there for a
Let's-
reason.
let's
You may think of people don't want us to hear it, but they do.
mental health.
Everyone does.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Yeah.
down.
It is hard to
Sure.
open up to your friends sometimes, even family. Anyway, on that note, thanks for listening.
Yeah,
Should we give a
thanks,
shout
guys.
out to the dude who's producing the intro track?
Oh, that is a good call. I was going to do an Instagram, but also a good call. We should do it every episode, realistically, but we probably won't remember. Thanks to young Crip for making the intro song. I appreciate it. And also Lee
The
Denham
album art.
for the album art. I will do it probably Instagram, so because like they're both musicians and artists, and you check out their stuff. But thank you both of them for
We'll put it up on
contributing.
Instagram
Thanks,
with the
guys.
social tags, and then I'm guessing.
We will do that when
Yeah.
this episode comes out. All right,
All right.
thanks guys.
Cool.
Peace.
Bye.
Thanks. Peace.